when he does pick up it.
Yeah, it's either him or Lolsish. I see Lolsish playing a lot of hit scan on the ladder. Doing with Spectral on the team, though, formerly Only God, well known in the realm of hit scan DPS. And of course, like you said, KSB, after he joined up with Morning Stars, they did actually introduce Ashe into the hero roster for professional play, who's also a very dangerous hit scan DPS. We will be rolling out here with MouseZassa on the Orisa. It's going to be 3-3, but with Orisa instead of a Reinhardt or a Winston. Lolsish is going to go for a different approach, instead going for a more classical Winston. We'll have to see if Morning Stars want to keep this Orisa here. They may have to just move here onto the point. That'll allow Lolsish to get a huge amount of cleave very quickly.
I think they are rotating back, or at least they're playing rather sheepish at the moment. There you go, MouseZassa did get sped boost towards the spawn. He's going to change over to the Winston instead to match Angry Titans just straight up.
Exraf and Aafox will be exchanging those orbs. MouseZassa now claiming some positioning on the point against Emil as Lolsish looks to come in and start cleaving.
I felt like Angry Titans there didn't really know that Morning Stars were going to change over. They could have claimed some space on the point, but it's actually Morning Stars who start that capture rolling. Almost managed to get it, but Angry Titans were able to contest them for the time. A lot of cleave coming through from Lolsish, and actually the first kill goes on to MouseZassa. Now Lolsish can play it a little bit more safe, push everybody from Morning Stars in that small corridor, and they all get right-clicked by Spectral. Dragon Eddie's going to go down as well. Pretty bad situation if you've got a high-powered Xayah up in your face. A couple of right clicks here and there. You got yourself almost an ult, 15% away. AT will also contain the point.
MouseZassa just falling so quickly there was for death now for Morning Stars. Unfortunately, Angry Titans just a great target focus, managing to burn him on down, reducing the amount of cleave and pressure that could be applied onto their backline with that highly mobile main tank. But of course, Morning Stars going to move straight away onto the point.
Such a dangerous situation for Morning Stars right now. They've got to contend against a grab. Urki has used that rally fairly early on. Leaf is just going to match him on the field. Graviton Surge is going to get used. 3 people are caught up in, but Self-Destruct's going to land right on top of them. If they find the boot, it could be big. Just in case Eddie got down, he managed to get back up again. Did sink himself into the pit, use those thrusters to get back on the high ground. MouseZassa is going to go down. Hardest is going to follow him. Another quick clean team fight for Angry Titans. They do lose Urki in the process, though. Exraf did manage to claim a little bit of blood, but AT are going to continue to hold the point.
Interesting bit of take there from Hardest as well. He was getting knocked off, but he actually just bounced himself off the edge with one of those plasma mortars to ensure the knockback was actually applied to himself, which meant that Angry Titans wouldn't get the credit nor the ultimate charge for that 400 HP disappearing. Spectral's actually doing a great job of using his mortars here. He's basically sniping right now.
And no one's paying attention to him whatsoever. He's at 85% already. He's about to another grab. Leaf is going to go down already. The grab gets thrown out by Morning Stars. Lolsish finds 3 people with the Primal Rage. This is domination from Angry Titans right now. They're taking no prisoners.
Oh, Angry Titans definitely living up to the name. Lolsish, Primal Rage, triple kill. Not much more you can ask for from your Winston. That's a huge amount of playmaking potential you can get, especially on Sanctum. And now, Morning Stars, they're in a desperate position.
Early grab, Exraf gets instantly killed. Thanks for the kills. Angry Titans going to rotate back to the point. They got 10%. Hardest is going to go down as well. Spectral just chased him up. There's 5% to go. I'm not sure they're going to be able to touch. Tridd potentially does find the boot, manages to contest for the time, but Lolsish instantly kills him. It's now 5v6 for Morning Stars. Leaf's on his Doomfist now as well. Dragon Eddie tried to get on the points, which is a little bit too late. And Angry Titans end up claiming Sanctum.
Like we pointed out, Spectral there was basically, he was an unchecked mortar machine and was just free-firing these from the high ground. No one was really able to go out and really challenge him out for a duel. You'd expect maybe Tridd or potentially like Dragon Eddie and MouseZassa would just go and dive on him and try and force him away from that position or try and put him elsewhere. But unfortunately, just mortar after mortar just coming in, dealing so much damage, allowed him to build up a load of Graviton Surges. It also made sure that when MouseZassa put down a shield, it wasn't available for long. And also when people were trying to get out of the line of sight of other members of Angry Titans, they were always within the line of sight of Spectral.
Yeah, not only that, the hardest Xayah bubbles had to be used fairly early. You saw how much damage Spectral was doing. He was just right-clicking into the mass of the 3-3 as they were trying to move onto the point. And it was like, okay, well, that's a lot of free charge. Oh, we have to now burn Bubble because he's taken so much damage. Now that is down. And it's, yeah, it was just all over from there. No one was actually paying attention to him. Maybe if they rotated towards him and then scared him off of the high ground, they could have done something.
Yeah, and Lolsish, of course, being incredibly impressive on that Winston. He was pretty well known as a Reinhardt player, of course, alongside Elliot, because they'd been playing together for so long. But one of the reasons why that tank synergy was so important was because they used to play in the dive meta together. They played together, I believe, I think their stat was about 14 years. Of course, not only in Overwatch, across multiple titles.
It will be about 15 now, in
fact. Yeah, actually around 15 years, but unfortunately Elliot has has gone over to play for Envy instead, moving on to other opportunities on that academy team. But the ability to like lead a diva behind you for those sort of dives is very good, especially when you're trying to ingratiate a new player like Emil into your roster. Of course, Emil was picked up previously from 1 point to be added to the Angry Titans roster when Elivote left us.
It looks like we're going to jump to a quick break, guys. A couple of small tech issues which will get sorted. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back. It was 3 minutes, but we're actually back in the game.
Time aligned. We're bringing it back early just for you, our special preparation. We are going to be, of course, moving over to the village section of Nepal. And this is where Maze really do come into their own.
Yeah, that they do. I think they were hovering a couple. I'll have to wait and see when we do slide over to the game momentarily. Maybe see a little bit of Ash too. Please, please, please. I know KSP is not currently playing because you can't swap out mid-control map, but Ash is pretty good on this map too. Can contest the point for a whole lot of time with Bob. Plus that high ground can be used to such good advantage. Plus Farah, I just want to see some DPS.
Hardest also pretty effective hit scan DPS. That was his role before he became basically world famous as a graviton generating monster. For now, Angry Titans are actually hovering over that Mei. Spectral does have a pretty good Mei. We've seen it multiple times before. He's been very good at hitting those long-range headshots, and of course, it sort of functions like a sniper. He doesn't suffer from damage fall-off.
What's quite interesting too, when you look at Mei compositions now, is you think about how much experience teams have had playing against the Mei from last season round. CIS Open Windstrike, obviously quite famous for playing it, and it's like, wow, we can just watch so many VODs of how they actually managed to do it. Plus, they weren't, like, they made it to the playoffs as well, so it's not like they were falling short by any means.
Morning Stars rolling out with 2-2-2. Angry Titans are all too keen to meet them, going for that triple hit scan. Spectral Urky Fat's not actually going to stay on the Widowmaker, going to go for a double flanker here. Of course, going to be led by Lolsish. I talked about how well he can lead these dives, which has been a great boon for Angry Titans. I'd love to see if maybe Xraf or Hardest will be in a poor position and be exploited.
Oh, wow. Instantly. Spectre and Emil were able to take out Xraf. Dives on that Zenyatta, you haven't really got anywhere to go. Micro Missiles finish him off. He's going to be able to take aerial superiority, but you got to watch out, man. You've got to protect onto Mercy. Spectre was able to take him out. That's not something you usually see every day. A Tracer just gunning down a Mercy. She ends up falling, and this should be a rather quick cap now for Angry Titans. Spectral picks himself up a 3-piece.
I've seen it in my comp games plenty. Jaws a Tracer gunning down a Mercy. Does look like Morning Stars don't want to stick on this comp for much longer. Liv's going to swap over to that Brigitte, so Spectral's going to have to be a lot more cautious before he wants to move. An early recall there does mean that he now cannot be as aggressive for 9 seconds. While that comes off cooldown, will just be leading his way back and trying to get a little bit of escape potential.
He's fine. He picked up the health back. Pulse Bomb goes out. Tried to Kobe that one, ended up missing completely. That Coalescence doing a lot of damage though. They're going to round about on Hardest and manage to kill him off. But meanwhile, Fat was caught out in no man's land and ends up going down as well. Big EMP manages to strike 3 people. Drew instantly taken care of. And now Spectral could just run around doing whatever he so pleases. He's on himself another pulse bomb as well. Leaf is dead. Beautiful stick on the mech, instantly destroys it. And now Xraf trying to fend for himself. Wasn't long for this world as Emil ends up taking him down.
And you do so much damage as Tracer. I talked about it yesterday, Jules. 240 damage per clip. That is so bad against tanks.
Dear.
Look at this.
Hardest, you're dead, mate. Just go back to spawn.
Absolutely drilled through.
He's going to get himself another pulse bomb, mate. You know what he's going to do? He's going to beeline for the supports. He's going to stick Leaf. You're not going to have a shield, mate. I could just flip around behind you.
You
can't one-shot me anymore as Brig. Unsafe.
This is all about his like audition for British Hurricane, ready to go on that bombing run, one after another after another. Now Lolsish can dive incredibly deep, has that Primal Rage ready to go. Even if people try to shut him down, he's going straight in.
Early Coalescence. That's a very bad situation for the Xraf to be in. Primal Rage is going to get used as well.
Oh,
Xraf doesn't have bait. He baited it out. Xraf gets sent off the face of the map. Lolsish beating everybody up. And Dreedro gets hacked also, so can't even wall ride away from Lolsish. He manages to find 2. Emil using that self-destruct on point to clear out the rest of Morningstars. And now everybody just trickling back on. Spectre again just running free in the back line. There's no way Hardest is going to be able to take him out, mate. He's way too quick. He almost got himself another pulse bomb as well. If you're not careful, that's going to get stuck right to your head. OT is now ticking down from AT. Desperation sound barrier for Morningstars. We've got another pulse bomb online, but no one from AT are going down just yet.
Stick going to be avoided with a fade, but now everyone's going to get cleaved through by Lolsish and the EMP2.
That should do it. EMP with a Coalescence. Malzassa goes down. Morningstars just getting routed. Even Leaf coming back on the Doomfist. Can he find anything? I'm sure he can. Lolsish is getting taken so low, but the healing from the Moira just sustaining Lolsish through pretty much anything that's going to be thrown at him. Another Primal Rage earned, but it doesn't matter. OT ticks through, and Angry Titans will claim Nepal.
Welcome back, Tracer. What a great show there from Spectrum. And also, he managed to play around that Brigida so well, even when he actually got cornered by Leaf with that shield bash. He was actually in a place where he knew he was only 1 blink away from a mega health pack, and he knows that that combination will no longer outright kill a Tracer, because shield bash, of course, only just 5 damage now. A lot less than the 50 that it used to, so you aren't really so much of a threat to a Tracer. You can try and force out that recall, but left with about 30 HP, I was like, okay, I'm just going to dash on over to that health pack, get myself 250 HP healed, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to kill you all when you've been EMP'd.
Brigitte players now not making sure Tracer players are they're in their nightmares. This is a bit of a weird situation seeing a little bit of Tracer. I'm actually quite happy about it. But he also got about 4 pulse bombs, I think, within, I don't know, maybe about 2 minutes. A little bit insane. We'll have to wait and see if Morningstars can wake up from their nightmare. We'll join us back again in a moment after the break. Hey guys, welcome back. Found a few words. Looked up a dictionary real quick.
You looked up a dictionary?
Yeah. Well, you need to. I haven't got a dictionary on me. You need to look it up on your phone.
You need to look up a dictionary and then look something up in the dictionary that you looked up?
Yeah. I looked up a lot of things. Angry Titans, currently in the lead 1-0 after taking Nepal pretty decisively as well. 2-0. Not a map went the way of Morning Stars right now, but we are jumping onto Blizzard World as our hybrid map of choice.
I'd like to see if we continue to see this dive sort of style come out of Angry Titans. We have seen multiple teams attempt the DPS take of the first point, and sometimes it's went well, sometimes it very much has not towards a 3-3 defense, and even some more DPS-centric defenses we've seen. But it is far from a panacea, cannot deal with all of your ailments, can't fix everything, and occasionally you can be easily overwhelmed by a well-placed Pharah. Right now, Leaf not looking overly great on the Pharah, but we do know that he has it in him to hit those direct rockets.
Yeah, I don't know if it's him just not looking good on the Pharah or just the rest of the team kind of not falling apart. It's not like they're not looking good, of course, but it was Spectral just taking over the game on the Tracer. And I mentioned it actually on Nepal Village that sometimes, well, more often than not, you're not going to see a Tracer kill a Mercy because the Mercy's going to be up high in the sky with the Pharah just pocketing her. But Spectral finding that kill initially just leaves Leaf just in a situation where he can't really do much. He can't go near to the ground, can't play risky, and he ended up going down as well at the end of the fight when the rest of his team were dead.
Yeah, Leaf can't get the attention that he deserves from his Mercy if there's so much pressure on the team on the bottom, led by a Lolsish dive, because at that point Leaf has to go down and apply the Caduceus Beam to the targets that are taking so much damage. Got to get that extra 50 HPS in there, build up towards a Valkyrie rather quickly. And that means that Leaf then is not having damage boosted rockets, only doing 120 damage per. So it's not the ideal situation for him. Have to see if either team wants to bring out something strange this time. Does it like 3-3 is going to be the comp du jour today? Yeah,
no Sombra either to kind of scout out. I think Morning Stars have Angry Titans figured out at this point. It's almost fairly obvious. More often than not, you are going to see the 3-3 on the defense on this map. Like you said, you can see a little DPS, but it is 3-3, just standard. No monkey either.
Oh my lord, that's brutal.
That's a nice pick, though. Avox getting the chunky right click on Exarath's head. And the rest of AT are going to surge on forward as well, just trying to get as much damage down as possible. Charge those ults ASAP.
Ooh, that clip needs to be added to some sort of ASMR compilation, because that was incredibly satisfying.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, 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 ding. See you, Exarath. Go back to spawn.
Eliminated.
Avox is down now. He's on the hunt. He's found the chickens. He's made his way into the coop. The farmer not going to be very pleased about that one. Losh is going to retreat back around this corner. This corner is incredibly important for a Reinhardt defense. If you can somehow allow a Reinhardt to give up that corner, it can be very detrimental. They can't have that physical cover for their shield, and that's exactly what's happening now.
Nice pre-mortars from Spectral. Now they've kind of made their way to the back line. Lolsish not respecting Malzasa at all. Runs past him and takes out Dredro, but Dragon Eddie does make sure he pays for his life, and he ends up going down as well. And now Angry Titans don't have a main tank to fall back behind.
And Morning Stars here, they are just being very patient. They're allowing themselves to get what they need, get behind that shield, keep things well-oiled as a nice machine. There's the first tick. They may be able to get the second here before the return of the main tank, Lolsish.
Yeah, Dragon Eddie checking as well up on the high ground. The Shadow's going to come out from Lolsish. Two are going to get sent to the ground. Dredro's in the front of the shield. Malzasa's going to get taken care of as well. Spectral just right-clicking past everybody. Doesn't care, Harry. He's got Graviton Surge as well.
Did he just walk up and Earth Shadow?
I think he did.
It was like,
I think he held the keys W and then Q very briefly. Happens.
Unheard of.
Happens.
This is a whole new wave of Reinhardt technique. 93.3% is what Morning Stars got, so they're only going to have to capture a tick now if they want to claim the entirety of the first point. Spectral's ready to try and waylay them, but the Graviton Surge stands in their way if it cannot be eaten by Dragon Eddie, and it will not be.
Nice grab at the back. No one can really capitalise though, and Exarath used that Transcendence to keep his Diva alive. Dragon Eddie is very thankful for that one. Chasing a meal off the high ground now as well, as that rally is going to come through from AT. Still have a couple of ults to fall back on as they send the self-destruct in high in the sky, and he manages to catch Hardress and Dredro. Malzasa was able to protect himself, but not the rest of his team. Now the rest of Morning Stars is going to get cleaned up.
Beautiful play there from Emil, getting the vanilla self-destruct. What more could you ask for from your Diva, who of course is new to Angry Titans for this season? One of his first organizations that he's been signed to, and he's definitely making a case for how much he is worth that valuable contract. doing great here alongside Spectral and Lolsish in the tank line of Angry Titans. So I'll have to see if he'll be able to be just as effective in the next fight. He needs to potentially try and eat up that Graviton Surge. It's one of the best mitigations that could occur, but of course AFOX and Fat do have in reserve two support ultimates to try and keep everyone sustained.
Very, very early beat. They're going to watch out for Malzasa's Shadow now. He sends it out, but Spectral manages to block it with the bubble perfectly.
Oh,
Graviton Surge comes in, but gets eaten by Emil. And now Morningstars are going to have to rely on Hardest's pure damage. Self-destruction is going to come in as well, but it gets blocked up, as well as a Transcendence being used for AT, because they don't need to prevent the grab anymore. AFOX can use it whenever he so chooses. Morningstars get chased off of the point, and now have 40 seconds remaining to claim the last 33%.
Angry Titans are on a whole other level right now. I said for Emil, what he needs to do in that was eat the grab. That's exactly what he did. He understood it so well, tracked Hardest through that scrimmage, managed to find him, managed to get in his head. And Spectral now, ooh, not going to go for sneaky grab this time, maybe. We'll have to see. Does have that available, though. The answer from Morningstars will have to be Exaref and that Transcendence, but can't do that much against burst damage. Can potentially be overwhelmed.
Spectral was posturing there to try and get a grab in. He manages to get a 180, but already AFOX is going to go down. A Transcendence from Exaraf now to save the rest of his squad, and they're going to round about on Lolsish, who goes incredibly low. Defensive self-destruct, but Lolsish is already dead. Malzasa also falls, so a main tank for a main tank isn't going to be too bad in the books of Morningstars. And Spectral trying to almost solo carry this fight with his damage right now, but it's only 33% that is required from Morningstars. Exaraf and Leaf end up finding a kill of their own, and 2 minutes and 30 seconds now get added to their time bank.
It was an expensive little shopping trip there. For Morningstars have purchased the first point. They exchanged 4 minutes to do so. A couple of ultimates as well, but Hardest is ready to bring up yet another Graviton Surge. Emil, not having the self-destruct, will be focusing quite heavily now on trying to eat a second one of those. Of course, got the first out of Hardest, can get in your head, try and out-psycho Zarya, try and make sure that that Diva is forcing you to make the wrong decisions here and there. You can see that Dragon Eddy trying to build up towards that self-destruct, wants to be able to combine it with the Graviton Surge for that 1-2 combo.
They're going to run straight in. Malzasa has to respect Lolsish right now. He has got Shatter. Graviton Surge comes in. So as that bomb on top as well. A big boop coming through from the Lucio. And Dragon Eddy will find and secure the kill onto Fat. Lolsish is also going to fall. Hardest trying to find yet another grab as Emil dies on the payload in order to buy some additional time. But Angry Titans, they've still got it in them. They've still got another fight here. And there's only 1 minute and 30 for Morningstars to sink it in hole number 2.
Clean play there from Morningstars, not using more than they needed to. And Angry Titans traded to Transcendence for hope of a longer survival. Fat can now get incredibly aggressive with the sound barrier potentially. Druga doesn't have his available. Exaraf may be forced to answer.
There's really aggressive grab. Actually pulls 3 away from the payload. Transcendence is going off in the meantime as well. But all that time out, Lolsish has still got the Shatter. He's waiting for it right now. He's waiting for his opportunity. Everybody gets booted up into the air. And Hardest is in the back line. Receives the beat just in time, but Spectral manages to take out 2. Another minute still remains for Morningstars to attack, of course. But Spectral just taking over the game. Finds 3 kills in the fight. And Angry Titans are going to hold Morningstars just for now before second.
Great stuns there from Lolsish, making sure to halt the potential momentum that Morningstars would have with the 750 overshield that the sound barrier gives you. And of course, Fat exchanged his own, so there was that sort of like parity in terms of the healing that was available. AFOX will now have an advantage of a Transcendence over Exaraf. That's a little bit more sustained, but Angry Titans will be able to count on here as we move in towards our potentially final fight here on Blizzard World. It's going to be Morningstars claiming the high ground, shining bright like diamonds up there.
Really early self-destruct's not going to find anything. A Graviton Surge is going to come in, lock them to the payload. Lolsish already finding 2. Thank you very much. There's no self-destruct that was needed. I'm sorry, Emil. The kills aren't going towards you today. Morningstars are now caught in a very small room with Spectral and Lolsish. Angry Titans are going to hold Morningstars just before second point. Couldn't even touch it, really. It was like, oh, there's a self-destruct. Oh, and a grab's on top of us, and 3 of us are dead. Couldn't even have time to react in most situations.
Dominant Deluge, defensive ultimates right there from Angry Titans, overwhelming the incoming Morningstars, who figured that potentially the gambit of an early self-destruct might catch Angry Titans off guard, force them to give up too much room, maybe not be able to contest as that cart rolled on forward. You can see the crown of Leoric right there, ready to be claimed, potentially, by the Titans if they can move the cart so far as that. They're going to have to claim the first point, and of course, about 112 meters after that will put put them onto match point as we move into half-time, but this is still very winnable, Jaws. For Morningstars, they can go for the first point holds, which are quite common on Blizzard World. You can often see 3-3 combinations hold this down for a long time, especially against more DPS-centric compositions, which are kind of like a gambit. You can cap the first point incredibly quickly if the other team's not prepared to play the sightlines that they need to.
Yeah, you can, though, on the attack. Just run that Sombra real fast. Just run out of spawn with Sombra. Just make sure you know exactly what the defense has in store. More often than not, the defensive spawn is fairly far away. There's very few maps, and the only one that I can really think of off the top of my head is Nambani, where the spawn locations are actually almost equal distance from each other. Blizzard World, not so much. It's a very one street way to one route way to the point if you are on the offense, and it's not the longest distance in the world. Plus, you have some nice sight lines, like you said as well. We'll see if Angry Titans do want to do that, of course.
A couple of them are long straight lines as well, which is quite conducive to using abilities such as Reinhardt's Charge or Doomfist's Rocket Punch to get back rather quickly. Have to see if Angry Titans will decide to go for this scout with Emil. May well have his translocated in the base, in which case he would be able to quickly snap back, but remains to be seen if Angry Titans will decide to stick with that. It could be if they go for an early hack on Malzahn to try and get that early pick. Morningstars are going to have to support him incredibly well. Right now, Emil hasn't used that translocator, so I think this is going to be the play.
Yeah, it's actually behind him right now. You can see the little cursor on your screen. I think it's on the Mega Pack in the left-hand side. Wants to be able to hack the main tank here, or maybe Dragon Eddy so he can't use that defense matrix. He's setting up rather well. In fact, Angry Titans are making sure that the Morningstars have their back to the Sombra.
Again!
Aafox finds a pick again, this time on the offense. Tridd's going to forward, now no speed boosts available. Urki's going to go down as well, so it's actually a one support trade for Spectral. Makes it even harder for Morningstars to come back into this one. Dragon Eddy's mech's gone, Hardest is also going to fall down. Morningstars getting routed almost instantly.
Aafox!
Emil had nothing to do with this fight. It was all Aafox. He put 80 on his back.
I said he got him a chicken coop. He just took the whole damn farm. To paraphrase Breaking Bad, he can't keep getting away with this. Morningstars, stop peeking the right clicks. He's basically got a Transcendence already. He's got the most ultimate charge out of anyone in the lobby right now. Spectral coming in just a little bit behind. And Emil, of course, going to be topping up his own with some early poke here onto Morningstars. Going to report back those defensive positions. So Angry Titans will know the best way to move in onto this particular geometry, but Morningstars are going to rush to them instead. They want to try and get the early contest on the cart so they get that second fight before the end.
They do have a bigger health ball, of course, having the Diva. The Shadow comes in, but the Graviton Surge is going to match them as well. Spectral gets healed up in the meantime as they were all sent to the ground. Malzahn ends up going down. A big Shadow in the back line. Losish finds 4 people, and Morningstars, they're all going back to spawn. 4 minutes now for Angry Titans to move towards second.
Morningstars are going to need to make a big defensive play here, but Jaws, they're lacking the tools to make it happen right now. Hard is still 25% away from that Graviton Surge. Dragon Eddy will be able to combine the self-destruct with him when it does come to that point. But Exaraf right now, he can just keep his team alive, but keeping your team alive isn't always the main offensive play that you need. Have to see where Morningstars decide to try and take this engagement. Emil is ready with the EMP. He's going to use the translocator.
EMP straight on top of Morningstars, but Exaraf was able to hide away. Didn't get hacked, so he used the Transcendence in order to keep the rest of his team alive. AT can't capitalize just yet.
Looked like there was an early knockback as well. So Angry Titans didn't have anyone there who could try and capitalize. Lolsish giving that projected barrier. Spectral just going to try and farm up.
Malzahn has been hacked as well. Signaling go time for Angry Titans. They get grabbed on the spot as the self-destruct is thrown in as well. Exarath and Hardest find a couple of kills. Can Spectral carry this fight once more as Malzahn ends up going down? They lose Lolsish as well, and he throws out a grab. Rather interesting. Leaf's actually going to block the majority of that damage. Aafox, couldn't quite get revenge on Exarath, who came up behind him. Morningstars, they win the fight for the time being. Angry Titans are going to still stick on that Sombra, though.
Angry Titans also know that Juju has that ultimate available, not only because they can ultimate track, but now they are absolutely sure. Because, of course, when you are hacked and you have an ultimate available, nice shiny tick appears above your head to divulge some information onto your enemies. They will have to be cautious of that. Exaraf, of course, having done a lot of damage over the course of that fight, has almost got the Transcendence back, which he opened the previous fight with. So that's some impressive brawling from the Zenyatta of Morningstars. And now it looks like Angry Titans, they're going to have to fight a lot harder to make this fight work. They are claiming the high ground, but they don't have a huge amount of ultimates to play with.
Trying to split Malzahn's focus right now. He's having to look, obviously, top left and then top right as well. He doesn't want someone actually dropping on top of him before he can get that shatter off. Fat is moving the payload in the meantime as well.
Going to be pressuring him out. Emil, of course, has swapped over now from the Sombra onto the Diva, doing extra damage to that shield as everyone rounds upon him.
Shadow's going to come down, but is it going to be enough? 2 people are sent to the ground. Fat is going to go down as the Transcendence comes through from AT. 1 support already lost, though. This does mean you're going to be in a bit of a heal disadvantage if you're Losish right now. Two people also hit the ground as Dragon Eddie gets demeched as a rally comes forward as well from Urki. They want to make this fight instantaneous. They managed to kill off Malzasa. Hardest also falls. Dragon Eddie, not long for this world as Angry Titans manage to clean up the rest of Morningstars. They grab off the payload somewhere to stop them from touching, and AT will find match point in the series.
Such good identification of the win conditions there. They knew that Lolsish, if he had that Transcendence, because Malzasa had just used that Earth Shadow, he could just move forward and keep swinging, build up his own Earth Shadow, and he wouldn't have to play that defensively because he doesn't have to worry about blocking out a Shadow from the rest of his team. Because he's got all that healing, he can then just go as mad as he wants, takes two people down with that Earth Shadow, and the cleanup is definitely there as well because Spectral's surviving with high energy, no less, doing about 190 damage per second with that beam, and that's definitely going to be amongst our highlights.
AT now 2-0 in the series. They didn't even let Morningstars take a map in the first one as well on Nepal. Such domination. You can see, of course, why they're undefeated right now, wanting to continue that streak. They managed to take the next one, which is Voskaya Industries, of course. It will be a clean 3-0, and then they just have to fight for map. Well, Morningstars then have to fight for map score at that point, which is, they're not really in the danger zone. They've got a +2 map differential right now, sitting at 2 and 3. So barring some very unlikely circumstances, they're not really in the position where they can get knocked down.
Yeah, but they could be in a position where they lose seeding draws, and that could mean that they have a far more dangerous quarterfinal than they would otherwise like, because, of course, our top two teams at this point, looking like it will be, British Hurricane and Angry Titans, do get buys. They will not have to play a quarterfinal. They don't have to play until the semifinals. And our seeds 3 through 6, all 4 of those teams will have to face each other in the quarterfinals. Half of them will be eliminated, and then half of them will go up against our top 2.
This was another instance of just how quickly AFox not only generates ultimates, but his ability to use them almost just like Ninehead, right? Just big brain, manages to use it on the shatter coming out from Malzasa while they were all grabbed. Like, there was no way Malzasa really wasn't going to shatter there just to stop Lolsish and the rest of AT actually attack them all in the Graviton Surge. Instantly used the Transcendence, made sure the rest of his team stayed alive. When the Graviton Surge dissipate, Malzasa couldn't do anything because they were all in the Transcendence, and then they ended up losing the fight, and they pushed it on to second. Yeah,
it was some great tactical play there from Angry Titans, really identifying those win conditions, really looking at where the weaknesses in Morningstar's game plan were, even after they lost the Fat as their Lucio to that Earth Shatter, really managing to bring it back.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Morningstars can make this a reverse sweep. We've got Voskaya coming up very soon. Do not go anywhere.